Black Literature and Literary Theory, edited by Henry Louis Gates, Jr., was first published in 1984. The book is divided into two sections, clarifying the nature of Black literary theory and the nature of Black literary practice. Rather than merely applying contemporary Western theory to Black literature, these critics challenge and redefine the theory. In the introductory essay titled Criticism in the Jungle, Gates defines Black as encompassing African, Caribbean, and Afro American literature. He raises the implicit question of how applicable contemporary literary theory is to the reading of African, Caribbean, and Afro American literary traditions. The response to this question unfolds in a series of essays by critics and scholars who demonstrate a nuanced understanding of contemporary theories and Afrocentric aesthetic postulations. The collection also addresses the call made during the Black Arts movement of the 60s for the conceptualization of a critical theory divorced from Western theories. The essay by Wole Soyinka delves into the language of the social critic, critically engaging with Roland Barthes' definition of langue and parole. Soyinka expresses discontent with critics such as Gerald Moore and Bernd Reinfers who have misinterpreted his works. However, the essay leaves the reader without a clear view of the applicability of Barthes' theory to black letters. In contrast, James Snead's repetition as a figure of black culture emerges as one of the most enlightening contributions in the collection. This essay lends credibility to the advocacy for a theory of interpretation rooted in culture. He challenges Hegel's assertion that black culture simply did not exist in the same sense as European culture did, and discusses the relevance of repetition in black culture, emphasizing its pivotal role. Using examples from artists like James Brown and John Coltrane, Snead illustrates how this motif from African music influences contemporary artists such as Toni Morrison, Ishmael Reid, and Lean Forrest in their literary works. Structuralism has encountered resistance among critics of black literature, with the pioneering work of Sunday Anozie, as seen in Structural Models and African Poetics, and his essay in Black Literature and Literary Theory, failing to sway critics toward embracing structuralist poetics. Anthony Appiah's strong rebuttal to Anozzi's application of structuralism to African works explains the fundamental suspicions held by critics of black literature regarding the applicability and relevance of this theory within the literary canon. The reluctance to adopt structuralist theories in African and Afro American criticism stems from the theory itself, which views a work of art as an autonomous system of structures requiring decodification. Some critics find structuralism to be an escapist theory that lacks social and political commitment. While structuralism has faced skepticism in the realm of black literature, certain aspects of it, such as intertextual studies on myth and folktale by Levi Strauss and Vladimir Propp, may offer useful insights. Propp's method of breaking down folk tales into component parts and analyzing their relation to the whole, as demonstrated in J. Edwards' essay on the structural analysis of the African American trickster tale, reflects a potential avenue for exploration. The second part of Black Literature and Literary Theory, titled Practice, features insightful essays on African American literature by Bowen, Johnson, Baker, Washington, Wills, Steptoe, and Gates. These essays interpret works from the literary canon through various perspectives. Barbara Johnson and Mary Helen Washington, for instance, emphasize the seminal role of the feminist voice that has been overlooked by scholars and critics. Their analysis of Zora Neale Hurston's Their Eyes Were Wide and Gwendolyn Brooks' Maud Martha underscore the pivotal contributions of these texts to African American literature. Recent critical studies, such as Mary Evans's Black Women Writers, are expected to expand the scope of literary theories applied to black literature, especially the works of women writers. The essay that stands out as particularly provocative in the book is authored by Henry Louis Gates Jr., titled The Blackness of Blackness, a critique of the sign and the signifying monkey. Caroline Fowler, in her intriguing introduction to black arts and black aesthetics, contends that works in black literature require new value judgments that acknowledge the cultural artifacts shaping the artistic sensibilities of the writers. In 1973, Stephen Henderson, in his significant essay, The Forms of Things Unknown, formulated a critical theory for reading black poetry. Gates's essay in the same volume is a pioneering work in a similar direction, proposing a theory of interpretation from within the black cultural matrix. Gates explores the role of the signifying monkey in black culture, identifying it as a trickster figure akin to those in Yoruba mythology, such as Esu Elegbara in Nigeria and Legba among the Faun or Dome. He further explains the signifying monkey as a signifier, wreaking havoc upon the signified. Gates elucidates Afro-American narrative parody and applies it to the analysis of Ishmael Reed's Mumbo Jumbo, considering it a signifying pastiche of the Afro-American narrative tradition. Drawing from diverse sources in black culture, Gates establishes a solid theoretical framework and analyzes the works of major Afro-American writers. He contends that Ellison, for example, is a great signifier, naming things indirectly throughout his works. Ellison engages in parodying Richard Wright's literary structures through repetition and difference. In a detailed analysis of Ishmael Reed's Mumbo Jumbo, which parodies the Harlem, Gates suggests that the work is both about text and composed of subtext, pretext, post-text, and narratives within narratives. Gates's insightful analyses are informed by sociological, linguistic, and historical data from black culture. While black literature and literary theory is a pioneering and provocative text for students of black literature and contemporary theories, it is noted for a major weakness: the absence of an essay on Afro-Caribbean literature, especially considering Gates's definition of black as a metaphor for the African diaspora. Nonetheless, the collection supports the notion that contemporary theories can indeed illuminate works in black literature, with the most rewarding theories rooted in black culture.